Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. April 23rd, 2018.
The Kuhner Report is powered by Kelly Financial Services. Cleaning up your financial bull. Get the peace of mind that you deserve at Kelly Financial Services.
Will you still be a fan of Shania Twain after her apology? Okay, my friends, you want to talk about growing liberal intolerance and the growing assault on freedom of speech and freedom of thought. Here is a huge pop culture scandal that is developing right in front of our eyes. So, country music icon, and I gotta confess, I do listen to some of her music, and I like her music. Grace is a huge fan. Lori, my younger sister-in-law, loves her. Brittany, big fan. Was asked in an interview by the Guardian newspaper, what are your views on Trump? Would you have voted for him? Even though she's Canadian, who lives in Switzerland, she said, honestly, yeah. He's he's transparent. He's not a real typical politician. As she put it, he's not a BSer. And so, yeah, I would probably, we've got too much BS in politics today. I probably would have given him a shot. And for this, she is now being crucified on social media. Immediately, fans were saying they will no longer go to her concerts. They will no longer buy her CDs. They will no longer buy her albums. People were saying that her support of Trump reveals that she's profoundly racist, bigoted, sexist. She's a woman. How could she be sexist? But let that go. That she's homophobic. That she has now smeared the entire gay community in America. And now she has backtracked, saying she's apologizing. She says that her words were taken out of context. She's a Canadian. She was unexpectedly not expecting that question. It kind of caught her off guard. And so, according to her, she now says, I have no common moral beliefs with this president. I stand for being inclusive. I stand for diversity. I stand for gay rights, minority rights, civil rights, everybody's rights. And I do not support this president. She's done a complete 180 in about 24 hours. Now, quick point, and then I want to dive into the blazing phone lines. I talked about Kanye West. Same thing with him. He's now supporting a female black conservative, Candace Owens, who's got a very prominent YouTube page on Facebook, saying she has the right to her opinion. And if she supports Donald Trump and wants to go on college campuses to speak, let her speak. She is being prevented from speaking. She is being censored, shouted down, threatened, bullied, and intimidated. And Kanye West is now saying that freedom of thought, the thought police, is alive and well, and they're trying to suppress expression and free speech and even the freedom to think what you want to think. To me, the issue with Shania Twain is even forget what you think about President Trump. Just let that go. Since when has it become a crime to say you would have voted for Trump? Since when is it a crime to say you support a conservative? Since when is it a crime to express yourself and believe in free speech? The biggest story of our time, even bigger than radical Islam, I truly believe, is the rise now of the totalitarian left. A new left, a radical left, an intolerant left. A left now that wants to delegitimize and demonize and essentially ban any opposing views, any of them. And now the message is out. If you're in the entertainment business, you better not support Donald Trump. Because if you do, they're going to destroy you and your career. Shania Twain has apologized. Kanye West, so far, refuses to apologize. And now the rap hip-hop industry has told Kanye West, you are the black Donald Trump. And if you continue down this path, you are committing professional suicide. My friends, that's not freedom. That's not America. And that's not the First Amendment. At least not in Jeff Kuhner's world. 617-266-6868. Freddie and Beverly, you're up next. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Long-time caller, first-time listener. How are you?
Good, I'm good. How are you, Freddie?
I'm fine. I just want to give mention something that this is so typical of what these people are doing now. Recently, a free speech lecture was shouted down by these people on the left. They wouldn't let a guy give a speech on the importance of free speech. The movie Fahrenheit 451, there's a remake coming out of it about burning books and suppressing any opposing viewpoints. That couldn't be any more topical than it is right now. And yet, these people think that what they're doing is they're preventing fascism, that they're fighting for democracy. The definition of fascism is a form of radical authoritarianism characterized by dictatorial power and forcible suppression of opposition. So they're doing exactly what they think they're fighting against. And I'm really disappointed in Shania Twain that she backed down, that she didn't stand up for what she believed in. But I understand to have all these people forcing her to how she can think and how she can speak, why she would be intimidated, because it's become like a fascist state.
Well, you know, Freddie, you're completely right. And again, I think Massachusetts has been ground zero. I think it's us in California, frankly, that have been spearheading this movement. And I go back, if you remember, to that ridiculous Black Lives Matter march, whereby there was a group of people who wanted to hold a free speech rally. And I recounted their backgrounds. One was a Bernie Sanders supporter. Another one was simply an anti-war activist. I think even a leftist, but an anti-war activist. Another one was a civil libertarian. A couple of others were just simply libertarians. There was one or two conservatives in the group. That's it. That's all.
One was an old woman just holding an American flag.
That's right. That's right. And I had her on my show. But these were people who wanted to hold a rally, some on the left, some on the center, some on the right, in defense of free speech. And by the time Marty Walsh and the local mainstream media were done, you would think the neo-Nazis, the Klan, you would think Hitler's American brigades were literally coming to downtown Boston.
You know how unreasonable they are, Jeff? You know how unreasonable they are? I know someone that on Facebook was standing up for Diamond and Silk because all these people were saying what a disgrace they were and comparing them to Uncle Tom's and everything. And so someone stood up for them and said, if you don't like them, why don't you just don't listen to them? Let them do what they want. They have a right to have their own free speech and to think the way they want to. And that person, for saying that, for sticking up for two black women, was called a racist and a bigot.
It's unbelievable. It really is. Thank you for that call, Freddie. Look, either we have a country or we don't. Either we live in a free society or we don't. Either we have a constitution and a Bill of Rights or we don't. Now, to me, this is very chilling, because what they're trying to do now is they're trying to equate classical liberalism, which is really what conservatism is. Really, it's libertarianism, conservatism at its core is really liberalism in the old sense. We are the last liberals left. We believe in free minds, in free economics, in free societies, in individual rights, in the rule of law, in the Constitution and constitutional government. These are classical principles of liberalism. Freedom. Political freedom, personal freedom, economic freedom, freedom. And they're trying to equate that with Hitlerism, which is the antithesis of freedom. And they're brainwashing enough people to actually believe it. And so what you're now seeing is a mob, a Twitter mob, a Facebook mob, a social media mob, and on college campuses, literally a mob. Or, as I'm talking about the free speech rally, the one that brought out all those people from Black Lives Matter, an actual mob in Boston. And I remember I said it at the time. If you look at the media propaganda and hysteria, if they can bring 20, 30, 40,000 activists on the streets, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 10, Channel 25, WGBH, everybody covered it. Everybody covered it. And they're protesting a so-called Klan rally. And there wasn't even one white supremacist to be found. Not one. So they turned a rally defending free speech, in which, I'm not kidding, Bernie Sanders supporters were speaking, because some of them still believe in free speech, into literally a hate rally. If they can do that, I remember I said this at the time, they can do anything. They can do anything. So now they're trying to turn supporting Trump to make it verboten. As George Orwell put it, it's now a thought crime. This is beyond politics. This is beyond Trump. This is about the kind of society and culture and world we want to live in. And this is not a world that I want to live in. I don't. This, for me, is a nightmare. And so either we take our stand for freedom of speech now, or I'm telling you, my friends, today it will be Shania Twain or Kanye West. Tomorrow it will be you or me. You don't like what they say? Turn the dial. But what you don't do is force people to apologize for simply having an opinion. What are we now going to have? Re-education camps? 617-266-6868. Tom in New Jersey. Thanks for holding. Go ahead, Tom.
You're welcome, Jeff, and God bless you, and welcome back. We desperately need you.
Thank you, Tom. It's great to be back.
You're welcome, Jeff. Jeff, a couple points, and I'll move along quickly. You know, to Shania Twain, what I would say is, if fame and fortune come before freedom, we're not going to have freedom for very much longer. This is the Communist American Party. This is hardcore, go at the way you make a living, and we have to push back with full force, Jeff. And on a prior point on Kim Jong-un, the party boy dictator of North Korea, Jeff, what's going on? The Emmental, the Swiss cheese flown in from Switzerland, and the party goods are getting a little low. So what happens here is this is called the cash up. You pretend you're giving something up when you're really giving nothing up, and you look to get cashed up for $5 or $10 billion. That's what this play is. And Jeff, my final point is, I know George W. and the family lost their mother. God rest her soul. I think she's going to need it, Jeff. She did a lot of harm against the pro-life movement. And one thing that really makes me sick to my stomach, you know, George W., it's bad enough you have to stand next to Hillary, but do you think you really have to put your arm around her? Hillary rotten to the core, the modern-day Ma Barker. Didn't that make you kind of sick, Jeff?
It did. Oh, it did. And thank you for that call, Tom. And thank you for your courage for saying what a lot of people are thinking. I don't want to get distracted from the issue, but I have to address it. I mean, the way the Bush clan has cozied up to the Clintons, and it's almost like these two dynasties, you know, hooking up together, like political oligarchs, hooking up together at a funeral. I mean, really, and again, it's not just North Korea. I talked about how all of them are to blame for what's going on in North Korea. It's NAFTA, it's open borders, it's illegal immigration, it's endless wars in the Middle East. That's the ruling class. That's them getting together for one big shindig at the late Barbara Bush's funeral. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is no different than the oligarchs in Eastern Europe. Nothing, or political gangsters. Nothing brings mobsters together like a funeral. Anyway, just my opinion. 617-266-6868. Arthur in Chestnut Hill. Thanks for holding and welcome.
And welcome back to you, Jeff.
Great to be back, Arthur. I needed that vacation, my friend, but by Thursday or Friday, I kept thinking about you guys.
Well, Jesus, get a life then.
No, really, I think Grace says I'm becoming a workaholic. I think she's right.
Well, listen, you know something. You shouldn't live to work, but work to live. Aside from that, Jeff, first of all, good news, they captured that killer.
Yes, they found the naked guy in the greater Nashville area. They finally did it, Arthur.
and that is good news because he was capable of anything. And once the FBI screwed up. Aside from that, I have two things to say. One, I think I have the perfect solution for the North Korea situation, and then I have something to say about Shania Twain, if I could.
Go ahead, shoot.
Well, for the North Korea solution, the purpose, the thing that we want to achieve is for them to give up their nuclear weapons. Well, they're not going to give them up to us, and the only people that give them up to is the Chinese. If they give them to the Chinese, they can trust the Chinese, and if the Chinese are going to give them back, that means they're going to be in a war with us, and that's going to be the end of the world anyway. So, I think that solution would be the only thing that he would accept. This way, we get him out of there. He trusts the Chinese. We trust them a little bit now because they have a trade and they have a lot of common things, and it's a new world today. And I think that's the only way they're going to achieve getting those nukes out of North Korea is by moving them out and moving them to the Chinese and let them be the custodian of them. Now, as far as Shania Twain goes, she's a nice woman, okay? And unfortunately, she's very naive. If she's going to a place for a music interview and they introduce politics to her, she should know by now that the person that would do like that is a fanatic for the other side and looking to entrap her, which unfortunately she did. Now, I love Shania Twain. I think she's great. Doesn't change a thing for me. She's just bad judgment, and she got bad advice. She never should have apologized. Donald Trump is right. Never apologize when you're right.
I agree with you. And thank you for that call. Look, what she should have said was this. I mean, in a way, look, this is what I find the whole thing just so shocking. You know, and what she should have said, if you really want to be, PR savvy about it, is, what do you think of Donald Trump? I really don't get into politics. I'm a singer, and politics is just not my thing. So, but instead, she gave just an honest answer. She admits it. She goes, I kind of let my guard down. I gave an honest answer. So, as a Canadian who can't vote in an American election, you want to know what I really think? I'll tell you what I really think. Sounds like a straight shooter to me. Doesn't seem like he's much of a BSer. Okay? And don't we want that? Are we sick of BS in politics? So, yeah, I would have given him a shot. And then she's stunned, like so many people are. What happened to freedom of speech? I just gave my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. LeBron can campaign for Hillary. No problem. Elton John can hold concerts in the White House for the dear leader and Marxist Muchel. No problem. Hollywood can bow at the feet of the Obamas and the Clintons. No problem. But when one popular pop singer or a rapper, in this case Kanye West, just says, leave Trump alone, or maybe I would have voted for him, all of a sudden, their careers are destroyed. That's not freedom. That's a double standard. And it's time we said enough is enough. Eddie in Quincy, you're up next. Go ahead, Eddie.
Jeff, welcome back.
Great to be back, Eddie.
Shania Twain, I mean, she's a country music star. That's Trump's base. I think she could have just brushed it off and said, hey, I'm sorry, that was just my opinion. But this stuff has got to stop, Jeff. You go after a company. It doesn't take, we've talked about this before, 10 or 15%, that's their profit margin. And you put them right out of business. I hate to do it. I know I'm against boycotts totally. But maybe we should, and the one I could think of is the hip-hop movement. Maybe just we don't buy anything, don't listen to them or anything. And you blame it on like the college campuses, the newspapers, the media. We're the deans of these colleges. Free speech, and you just shut the whole thing down because people don't want to listen. And again, as far as boycott, maybe for a week or two, boycott ABC News, just to pick one, or the Boston Globe. Can't see a subscription for 6 months, and see where they go.
Well, Eddie, look, you make very good points, and thank you for that call, Eddie. Look, what to me is even more frightening is, and our founding fathers talked about this, you have to have what they call the habits of liberty. the habits of freedom. And I'm looking at I'm being honest with you, many of these college campuses today, many of these liberals today, and I'm really asking myself, do they even deserve freedom? Do they even know what it is? Do they know what an incredible blessing it is? Look, I went to university. You know how many crackpot Marxists showed up? You know how many crazy extremists showed up? I mean, literally, we had people defending Palestinian terrorists, I swear, at my liberal arts college, show up to deliver a lecture. I just didn't show up. Nah, I'm not interested. Nah, I'm not going to go to that talk. Nah, I really don't care. You want to go, go. It's a free country, but I'm not going to go. Now, you got this wonderful female black conservative, Candace Owens, who wants to just, she's involved with college campuses, working for this nonprofit, and they won't let her speak at campuses in California. They just won't let her speak. She's an invited guest. They won't let her speak. And so Kanye West comes out and says, why can't we just let her speak? I mean, what's going on here? Well, we have the thought police now. They're telling us what we can or can't say in public. So there is something very seriously wrong in our culture. And my friends, I'm telling you, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. This is like a cancer. It metastasizes and grows and grows and grows until we surgically remove it. And that's why it's time for us to call the left out. And it's very simple. Do you believe in freedom of speech or don't you? And if you don't, then you're the fascist. You're the liberal fascist. And we need to say it once and for all. Okay, Comey's memos. Is there a smoking gun? I've got that story, but first, they finally did it. The suspect in the deadly attack at the Tennessee Waffle House, the naked man, is in custody. Evan Heidenrich is in the WRKO newsroom. He has all of those details. What are they, Evan?
Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel.
Is Comey in trouble? In fact, has he opened himself now to maybe going to prison? This is now what many people are asking in the wake of the Justice Department's release of those infamous Comey memos. So here is now the absolute latest, my friends. As the dirtiest cop in America, James Comey, does his book tour, going on, by the way, one safe media outlet after another. Stephen Colbert, Steffi Stephanopoulos, 60 Minutes. In other words, he will only do interviews where they give him one softball question after another. And as he does his holier-than-thou routine, St. James Comey, how he only cared about the FBI, and he's the last honest man in Washington. The Comey memos were released. And my friends, you know what they show? They show him to be a self-serving opportunist and a cynical Machiavellian liar. But not just a liar and a leaker, but someone who may have actually leaked classified information, which is a crime. So, according now to one of the memos that has been released, Comey, apparently in those memos that he took notes, claims that in his conversation with Trump, he said that he told the president, quote, I don't do sneaky things. I don't leak. I don't do weasel moves. Well, that's a lie. Because we know now for definitively that he leaked at least several memos to a good friend of his, who then leaked it to CNN, leaked it to the mainstream media, leaked it to the New York Times. As Comey himself admitted, the purpose of the leak was to appoint a special counsel, his buddy, Robert Mueller, i.e., mission accomplished. And it's not just that he leaked. It's not just that he lied to Trump repeatedly, because he is a leaker. But what's even now more damning is that it appears that several of those memos contained highly classified information. That's a crime. There's no getting around that. That's a crime of at least up to 10 years in prison. You cannot leak classified information. Full stop. It violates the rules and laws of the FBI. It violates the rules and laws of the federal government. And it violates the rules and laws governing national security. So on multiple fronts, James Comey has committed now numerous indictable criminal offenses. In fact, he is now guilty of the very crimes that he exonerated Hillary Clinton. The very crimes that he made sure she would never be prosecuted for. She was the one who compromised classified, highly secret information. Now it turns out Comey has done the same thing by leaking it to the media. So that to me is point number one. Point number two, and I think now there's just no simply getting around this. Comey has now revealed himself to be an absolutely shameless partisan who despised the president from the beginning and who was part of a secret partisan cabal to throw the election to Hillary Clinton, to spy on President Trump, and then after Trump won the election, to do everything in his power to bring down Trump and bring down his presidency. Only in America can you be a criminal, a leaker, a pathological liar, an incompetent, the most incompetent FBI director in American history, who ran the agency into the ground, and still go on a book tour and make millions of dollars and have your book now soar to the #1 bestseller list on the New York Times. I swear, only in America. Only in America. So listen now to Comey tell 60 Minutes what was his motivation in telling the president about the infamous Christopher Steele Russia dossier. Roll it, Brittany.
President-elect Trump's first question was to confirm that it had no impact on the election. And then the conversation, to my surprise, moved into a PR conversation about how the Trump team would position this and what they could say about this. They actually started talking about drafting a press release with us still sitting there. And the reason that was so striking to me is that that's just not done. That the intelligence community does intelligence, the White House does PR and spin.
You also said you were struck by what they didn't ask.
Very much. No one, to my recollection, asked, so what's coming next from the Russians? How might we stop it? What's the future look like? It was all, what can we say about what they did and how it affects the election that we just had?
This is unbelievable. No, really. I mean, this is unbelievable now on so many levels. And by the way, that interview with Steffi Stephanopoulos was pathetic. First of all, just as a statement of fact, Steffi was the press secretary for Bill and Hillary Clinton. Steffi is a Clinton hack. Steffi only got the job on ABC News because he was the press secretary for the Clintons. He owes his entire media, quote unquote, career thanks to the Clintons. So you want to talk about a conflict of interest? They're going on about Sean Hannity and having Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer, as his own lawyer, and they're going nuts. So is this a conflict of interest? I'm like, all you guys do in the media is conflict of interest. So you have a political hack for the Clintons covering the election for ABC News, Steffi Stephanopoulos, who now is doing the big high-profile interviews with the likes of James Comey, who was working on behalf of Hillary Clinton and Obama to bury Trump. You don't see that as a blatant conflict of interest? Hello? Okay, that to me is the obvious point. But let that go. Let that go. Now we're finding out not only was the Christopher Steele dossier bogus, Not only was it full of lies and Russian misinformation, which, by the way, the Hillary Clinton campaign paid for lock, stock, and barrel. So not only were the Clintons colluding with the Russians to try to bring down Trump, but now listen to this. They keep saying the intelligence community, Trump was focused on PR. We were focused on the intelligence. Guess what? It turns out it was Sid Blumenthal and Cody Shear who fed that information to the intelligence community through the State Department. In plain English, it never originated within the intelligence community. It was a political operation from the beginning. They constructed this bogus dossier, and then they fed it to the intelligence community, and the intelligence community, including the FBI, the premier domestic law enforcement agency, ran with it to try to humiliate and bring down the president by leaking it as somehow classified intelligence. We're leaking classified intelligence. This is really 19 agencies have signed off on this. We've got Trump dead to rights. He's colluding with Russia. The whole thing was made up by Hillary Clinton and her political operatives. They fed it to the intelligence community, who then fed it to these FISA court judges to spy on Trump. Period. Full stop. As the FBI director, he knows all of this. He participated in all of this. He was one of the key masterminds behind all of this. And you want to see what a liar this guy is? This is the thing. And nobody's calling him out. Nobody's calling him out. He refers to Trump as a political mafiosi in his book. Sammy the Bull Gavano. Okay. Why did you want to stay on as FBI director? I mean, if he's Sammy the Bull, why do you want to work for Sammy the Bull? Now, maybe there was this golden showers. There's a chance, a possibility. Why would you want to work for a president that could be potentially blackmailed? But by your own definition, why would you want the job? My friends, enough is enough. And it's now time for the president to go on the offensive. Now, here is, to me, the way they're going to try to get Trump. And if you want to know the real story is not the Comey book. It's not even the Comey memos. It's not even the Comey book tour. Because we know who he is. He's a swamp creature pretending to be something that he isn't. Because we're finding out that his number two, Andrew McCabe, the inspector general, came out with a report. Listen to this. The IG is actually recommending that Andrew McCabe go to jail. Why would Comey's number two go to jail? Because he was deliberately leaking to the media, which is against the law. And then when investigators asked him, when internal affairs at the FBI asked him, he lied. So he lied to the FBI, which is the very thing he destroyed Michael Flynn on. Now McCabe is claiming Comey told me I could leak. Comey authorized the illegal leaks to the media. Comey's saying, I never said anything. So somebody's lying. Either Comey is lying or McCabe is lying. My sense is, I'll tell you the truth, they were both leaking. So they were both in on it. They both, frankly, should go to prison. But let that go. They cannot get Trump on Russia collusion because there never was any collusion, ever. This is a figment of Hillary Clinton and Sid Blumenthal and Cody Shears' imagination. And the deep state peddled it and pushed it to try to discredit and then break Trump. All of this was to set up the appointment of Mueller. But let me tell you where they can get Trump. And this is where I think the president now is very vulnerable and it's very dangerous. And if anybody's telling you anything different, they're lying to you. Now they've got Trump's lawyer. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I told Grace as we were vacationing in Aruba. She was having a pina colada. I was having a strawberry smoothie. I'm non-alcoholic. She had a little bit to drink. Fine. She works hard. She deserves it. So as she's sipping a pina colada and I'm drinking my strawberry smoothie and we're watching our two little bambinos play in the beach, I said, let me tell you now why we've crossed the Rubicon. They're doing to the president what Eastern European oligarchs do to presidents or leaders they want to get rid of. They go after the lawyer. Because the lawyer knows all the secrets. The lawyer knows where all the bodies are buried. The lawyer knows where all the skeletons are in the closet. And so when they raided Mickey Cohen's office and home and seized all of his documents, they are now fishing. And the pretext for the raid, we've now found out, is apparently they see some discrepancies and potential illegalities in the way Michael Cohen ran. He's got a taxi fleet business in New York. Okay, he has a taxi business on the side. And they think that maybe some things with the taxi business weren't kosher. They weren't on the up and up. And so now Mueller and his people at the FBI want to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze Cohen until, like a grape, he pops. And they'll tell him, we'll let you walk on all of these so-called irregularities that we spotted in your taxi cab business, but you got to spill the beans on the president. I know there's nothing on Russia, but there's got to be something on land deals. There's got to be something on financial transactions. There's got to be something somewhere where this guy, when he was involved in business, committed something that could be considered a crime or a violation of the law. And then they're going to use that to impeach the president. Because Mueller has nothing on Russia, nothing on Trump-Putin collusion, nothing, and everybody knows it. And he won't even have anything on obstruction of justice. So what they have now done is they now go after the lawyer, violate attorney-client privilege, all of these confidential documents, and now they try to squeeze the lawyer to turn on his client and hold over his head how many years he could spend in prison. What's your loyalty? To you and your family or to your client? You really want to be away from your wife and your kids that many years, or do you want to flip on your client? Because in all those years you guys did business together, don't tell me there wasn't anything that didn't cross the line. So the question I have for you is this, because this is now what's happening in our own country. Do you honestly think, say Trump didn't win the election. Trump is running the Trump Organization. He's still running his properties. Hell, he's still doing The Apprentice, the Celebrity Apprentice. Everybody knew Michael Cohen. Everybody knew Cohen was his lawyer. Everybody knew that in New York, across the country. Do you think the FBI would have raided his home and office? Do you think they would be even looking at his taxi cab business if Trump was not the president of the United States? No way, they couldn't care less. The reason why they're now investigating his taxi cab business, the reason why they're trying to put the squeeze on him, is because this is about getting President Trump. It's an investigation in search of a crime. It's political war. And as they say, in love and war, all is fair. First you break the lawyer, then you break the president. That's their play. Chris in Gloucester, you're up next. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you more. First of all, I don't know why the FISA warrant was granted on the Papadopoulos statement, which Nunes put in his memo. First of all, so the dossier is a lie that Nunes, even he admitted. Second of all, Carter Page's own testimony has corroborated the dossier. I don't know why people are continuing to promote this lie about the dossier being first parts that have been verified, and it was not the reason for the FISA warrant. And Trump can get the FISA warrant application and look at it and see why it was given. And the reason he hasn't done that is because it will prove him wrong.
Chris, I got to go, but thanks for that call. Actually, no. The FISA warrant was relied heavily on the Russian dossier, and the Russian dossier, for most intents and purposes, is complete and utter BS. Paid for by Hillary Clinton. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Okay. I wish I had another hour. I got to go, my friends. Rand Paul tomorrow at 1:05. Bye-bye.
Kuhner Report is powered by Kelly Financial Services. Cleaning up your financial bull. Get the peace of mind that you deserve at Kelly Financial Services. The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 100.7 WZLX HD2 Boston, an iHeart radio station.